Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum. I'm your host, Nick Dais. At Nick Dais Tenors, you can find me, veteransminimum.com, all things VM. It's Jersey Day in the studio. If we could get an ISO on this one right here, please, while we start. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Best jersey in the NBA.
That's definitely up there. It had a strong showing in the Jersey Jam competition during March Madness on the American Fan 365.
Cheap
I will
plug.
say,
I love it.
I will
Plug
say,
that. Plug that.
that was a shameless plug for sure.
I told you last time, and I made an emphasis to wear this on this show because I'll go a step further. I think it's the best jersey in sports.
That one.
This one, with the Raptor on it.
Ooh. I'll say this. It has gotten stronger with age. Like, you know how certain jerseys, like, they just get better with time because at the time you're like, oh, they're, because the thing about those were, they're corny because of the Barney dinosaur that was on them and all that kind of stuff.
Also, if you remember that era, dude, was like Anaheim Ducks.
Yes.
Mighty Ducks, I should say.
Yeah, that's right.
It was very, like, it's funny how in wrestling at that time, it was transitioning from being super gimmicky.
Yes.
Like you had Coco Beware, and you had all these, like, even the Ultimate Warrior was like
Jim Duggan.
Yeah. And then it kind of and then it kind of translated like into sports. Like you had a lot of like gimmicky jerseys.
What was the reason that how did the Raptors get their name?
Oh, I don't know. You got insider info, right?
Yeah, well, no, everyone knew this.
Oh yeah, I had no idea.
It was a fan vote, and when the Raptors got named, it was when Jurassic Park was the biggest movie of the year, and a kid put Raptors in as the name, and that's what won.
Yo, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what.
That's fire, bro.
Yep.
The other jersey I could think of that's pretty popping, I love the Blackhawks hockey jersey.
That's so funny to hear you say that. Actually, I was driving somebody earlier, driving Lyft, and he was saying the Blackhawks jersey was the best jersey. That one, and then I forget what the other hockey jersey he said, but yeah, Blackhawks is definitely up there.
Trying to think of football. What would you say, dude? The old school Chargers, the powder blue was sick.
Powder blue Chargers always is up there. Quietly, the old red, white, and blue Patriots. With the touchdown, the guy is getting ready to hike the ball.
Yeah, but you're talking about the logo. I'm talking about the jersey.
No. The uniform. That whole uniform set, when they rock those are pretty clean. And that's not even the team that I care for.
Yeah. Yo, the Cowboy Thanksgiving jersey is sick.
Those are good.
I can't hate on it, bro. That Cowboy jersey is fire.
The Bengals white helmet this year, they need to rock that as much as they can. I don't understand why they don't. It's a bad call. That's bad management.
It's interesting you bring up the Bengals because at the time we're recording, it is Wednesday. We don't have the schedule out. I've been harping on the schedule being the most important bit of information you get, whether you're betting on it. Everyone plays the win-loss record.
Sure, of course.
As a fan. But I think it's very important to know when you're playing. You know who you're playing this year. You don't know when they're playing.
Yeah.
I've been eyeing the Raiders schedule. It's pretty dope because they have a lot of popular fan bases coming in. The Steelers are coming. Both New York teams are coming. The Packers are playing here. So it's going to be
both New York teams?
Both New York teams, yeah.
But we're not playing. The NFC East isn't playing the AFC West again. We just played them.
No, but I think it's because
just similar records.
Seedings.
Okay.
So like you play the AFC West third place team. The Giants came in third also. So you have that.
Okay.
It's gonna be lit those weekends, man. Because I remember I came out here in 21. And Washington was in town.
Yes. I was at that game.
You were at that game.
Yes, I was.
And, dude, so many Commander fans everywhere. Washington football team that season.
It's still Redskins. Still Redskins to this day.
Bengals, one of the few games. We have about 7 games here that have been announced. One of them is Bengals-Chiefs week 17.
That's crazy. That's incredible.
That's going to be a bloodbath. Because playoff implications,
yes,
seedings,
1,000%.
bye week on the line, maybe divisions on the line. And then also for the degenerates out there, that's fantasy football championship weekend.
Yeah, and you made mention of that before as well. that's gonna be a game that decides a lot of people's stuff. You know, whether it's Patrick Mahomes, Joe. There's a lot of players
A ton.
that are going to be like,
yeah.
I'm waiting on this game. Like my money's on the line based off the results of that game. So that's actually gonna be a really big game.
We have the London games.
Yep.
You got the Falcons, Jaguars, Bills, Jaguars. First time ever that the Jaguars are playing back-to-back games in London, the first 2 weeks in London. So they're going to definitely stay out there. You were saying, like, yo, I'm going to have to call the Khan family if they make these boys travel back and forth. That's gonna be crazy.
The Concorde no longer exists. They stopped that plane.
Ravens, Titans.
No.
That's going to be 6:30 in the morning here in the West Coast, bro.
Run game travels. That I will say.
Oh, yeah. I'm not talking about, like, the particular matchup, but I'm just saying, Ravens, Titans. Like, even if I was a Ravens fan, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm waking up at 6 a.m. to watch that.
Would you go? I know the Giants played in London, I want to say 2 years ago.
This year, they played the Packers, dude.
That was this year?
Yeah.
Did you go?
No, I just moved here like 4 weeks before. Dang. Moving to Vegas altered my entire summer and like football plans.
Yeah.
Because I was planning on doing a Champions League game on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, my God.
Then going to a Premier League game. I've never been to a Premier League game. And, you know, everyone knows I grew up a soccer fan.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, go to Giants Packers and then come back. But I couldn't dish out the money to go there. And I just moved. Like, it was just, I'm not bitching that I moved to Vegas because I'm very happy and I'm excited and I love it here. But I'm also saying how I can't, bro, I'm doing well, but not that well to just be
the way your account is set up.
Yeah. Exactly.
That wasn't gonna pass the checking in the savings.
Yeah, we couldn't do that. Shouts to Kevin Hart with that joke there. And then we got Dolphins, Chiefs, Colts, Packers in Germany.
That Dolphins Chiefs.
That's gonna be another good one.
That's another good game. What week is that?
It's November 15th.
Hey, I saw that. Wait a minute.
Yeah, they can hear us.
Okay. Oh, they can hear us.
Yeah, shout out.
Okay, hey, how's it going?
Gotta love it.
All right,
Yeah,
then. Okay, then. All right, watch yourself, girl.
Great town, man.
Yeah, that's
great girl.
Hey, listen.
Just keep it at that. Just great girl.
Listen, that was very good. That was respect.
I'm always lurking, bro. I'm always lurking.
Respect.
You know what else? You know what else is on the schedule? Once again, these bastards did it to me, bro.
Oh, yeah. What's going on with your Christmas plans? How's Christmas looking for you?
Awful.
Wait. Where is that game though?
It's in Philly.
I didn't see that. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's like, come on, man. Like, I want to have a life. Like, can we have a life?
Bro, they're gonna ruin Christmas for me, dude. The Giants haven't won a game in Philly that mattered.
Dang, really?
I'd have off the top of my head now. Like, and I'm talking about a game where
something was on the line.
Yeah, the Giants aren't 3-8 going into. I'm talking about like shit matters.
Yeah,
bro. Since like week 3 of 2011, when it was the Victor Cruz breakout. Remember when he danced on Asamoah?
Yes.
Asamoah?
Yeah.
He was the Raider corner that went to the Eagles.
Oh! You're
Asamoah.
You're talking.
Remember they had the dream team, Vince Young.
You're talking about Kerry Washington's husband.
I'm talking about way back, bro. That's like the last time I can remember off the top of my head where they went into Philly and they won. And now these fucks put that game on Christmas. My family's gonna probably be out here too. And they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, it's so nice to see you." And then the Giants are gonna be down 31-3 at halftime.
What's worse than a Christmas game? What's worse?
Worse than a Christmas game?
Yeah, like where you like, we have no shot. What's worse?
This matchup right here.
No. Thanksgiving is by far worst. When the Cowboys like absolutely crack the Redskins on Thanksgiving, is like, so like the day is ruined.
The Giants played on Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah,
they lost to the Cowboys, but they covered the +8. So you can't have it all, but you gotta have something. That's what I like to say. So yeah, man, they ruined Christmas, dude. How'd they do that to me?
I'm sorry that your Christmas plans were ruined. You know what I mean? But listen.
They're gonna lose by 4 touchdowns. You know why? Because they always lose to Philly by 3-4 touchdowns.
We're gonna have more sponsors by then.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's the thing. That's the saving grace of it. I will say that.
Before we move over to the NBA, because we're gonna talk some NBA playoffs and a lot of fun stuff going on over there. Let's use the wrestling term fantasy book potential week 1 matchups. Like, what would you like to see as far as Thursday night, Monday night, and Sunday night football? Because those are the marquees. Like the season opener. We know for a fact it's going to be Kansas City.
Yep.
Who would you like the Chiefs to be playing? I'll pull up their schedule.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, there it is. We have that capability. What teams are they playing outside of their division?
So they are playing at home. They're playing Denver Chargers, Raiders, Bills, Bears, Lions, Eagles.
Well, I guess we're coming out swinging with Chiefs Bills. Chiefs Bills in that matchup will be dope. It would suck because one of those two teams has to take a loss or a tie. But that would be a heck of a start to the NFL season for sure. And it would be a bit of a statement for the Bills. Because if the Bills could jump off running, I think that would really give them a big boost. You know what I mean? Just because of the way last season ended and kind of how they've tailed off a little bit. I think that team would need that kind of good juju from the beginning of the season.
Yo, I couldn't disagree with you more about Buffalo.
Okay. I respect it.
They opened up the season last year on Thursday night. Remember
was that last year's matchup?
They played the Rams.
Oh, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
And like, bro, you know what, man? Buffalo, I'm sorry. I went to school there. You guys know I got nothing but love for the 716. I'm done with you guys. I just am. Like, ever since they got to the conference championship game, it's gotten worse.
Yes.
And the window, I think, it hasn't closed, but it's like it's almost a wrap.
Well, you know what, and that's fair. I completely understand why you would feel that way too. I think with Josh, it does keep it open,
right?
But they have to continually retool, similar to what we've talked about in the past with what the Chiefs have done.
Yeah,
you know, they have to draft well. I don't really recall their draft being exemplary.
They're always also picking like 25th.
Now,
28th.
They did pick up what tight end did they pick up in the draft?
Kincaid.
They did pick up Kincaid, so I don't know what they're going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know what they're going to be. I know that their defense quietly is sketch. You know what I mean? Like they're not bad. They're very good on paper, but then I feel like in big games they don't have that guy.
But you saw what happened last year. We've been celebrating their safety duo, right? Poyer and Hyde.
Yeah.
We've been praising them, and rightfully so. All pros, Pro Bowlers. Probably the best. No, not probably. I think the best safety
tandem for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But then their secondary from 2 years ago, they lost both their corners. Levi Wallace left, and then Tre'Davious White was coming off the ACL, so he didn't come back till November. Yeah. And then the safeties got banged up. So before you know it, you're like, damn, bro. That's why I'm blanking on his name right now.
Hamlin
was getting a lot of playing time.
That's
and he
right.
was playing well, but if those guys were healthy, he's probably like a special teamer.
Yeah, for sure.
So the reason why I say this about Buffalo, bro, is I'm just done with if we're the one seed, if we have home,
this is the year. Yeah.
Last year they went into KC and they beat them like regular season, and everyone's like, "Yo, Bills," and then what happens? They stumble along the road, and then you're hosting a playoff game against the Bengals where you should have won that game because it's snowing in Buffalo in January. Holy shit, you don't want to go through Buffalo.
My goodness.
And then you get your shit punched in. So for me, the Bills, I'm good on that. I wouldn't want to see that. You know what game I would like to see on Thursday Night Football?
Go ahead.
Super Bowl rematch.
Oh, my goodness.
Eagles, Chiefs. You got the Kelsey brothers again going at it. You got the storylines there. You got the two quarterbacks that absolutely crushed it in the Super Bowl. The two highest paid. I think Lamar's in that mix now, too. Shout out to Lamar Jackson getting his money. We're very excited about that. I've been saying how it was crazy that he didn't get paid all his time.
Yes.
But I would like to see Philly, Kansas City. And you were talking about one of them starting off with a loss. Why not Philly, bro? They're going to ruin Christmas for me, dude. It's at least you start off 0-1.
We got to get them as many losses as we can early in the season.
Yeah, ruin that morale.
Well, look. I don't know what Philly's going to be this year. We do know how the numbers say what they are. That team that goes to the Super Bowl, truthfully, both teams that go to the Super Bowl really struggle the next year a little bit. But if Philly can struggle, that would definitely help some things around the house, for sure. Not going to lie.
Sunday Night Football. Can I give you a matchup?
Okay, go ahead.
I feel like you're going to love this. You strike me as a guy that likes that old school kind of football.
Okay.
Steelers, Ravens.
That's a good matchup, especially,
In division, Sunday Night Football.
It's an exciting start to the season.
Yeah.
That's
It's
exciting.
the rivalry. I think it's the most intense rivalry in the NFL. Like them two. When them two play each other, as far as division goes, because I think Bengals Chiefs right now is probably my favorite matchup. Like that's must see TV.
That's similar to Colts Patriots with
Back in the day. Yeah. Like that's
fair.
a marquee matchup. I think all 4 of their meetings in the NFL, whether playoffs or regular season, has been decided by a field goal.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you just how much of a coin flip that matchup is between them two. The 2 clear best quarterbacks in the league, Mahomes and Burrow.
Clear?
Yeah. Who else? And look, when I say clear, I mean Mahomes. Then Burrow starts the conversation with everyone else.
And then after that, there's a slide.
Yeah, well, there's a slide between Mahomes and the next best guy.
Yes, we talked about that the last time.
Yeah, because it's just ridiculous, dude. Like, we're trying to create these conversations. It's the same thing that happens in the NBA. It's the same thing that happens in any other sport, right? Even in soccer, it happens. It's like, oh, it's Messi and Ronaldo and everyone else. And then, like, Neymar will have a season. We're like, oh, Neymar. It's like, no, it's still them two, right? And that's
let's try not to.
Yeah, let's not get crazy. That's the same thing now. Now it's Mahomes is clear number 1, and then number 2 is Burrow, but there is a gap between them.
Yes. I wouldn't say how sizable as people would make it seem.
But
it's let's not get crazy.
It would be like when people podium in tournaments. It'd be like that. Okay. It's like, but you know who the
golf
big dog is.
You get a golf.
Yeah.
Clap. You were 8 seconds behind, but you were the first loser.
Yeah,
so you're good. You got to be
which
up
is
here.
not a bad thing, bro. How many quarterbacks are there on the planet? You're the second best one. All right, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's one guy there that just is the man right now. So going with this matchup, those Steelers Ravens, I think that would be a dope Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, that would be good. I would actually like to highlight 2 young quarterbacks, and I would actually go rematch of the wild card game with Jags and Chargers.
Oh, I like that.
Because we got to start to, we have to start to push these new guys, these young guys.
Good call.
And doing something like that would actually be pretty cool because they had an epic game. They would build all that up, and you obviously know how the conversation and the narratives would go. But I think that would be a pretty cool matchup as well.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football. I think this one is. I want to say this one's a lock to be the Monday Night Football game.
Okay.
Giants Jets.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. You did talk about that.
And also, it's on.
Makes sense.
It's also on 9/11.
Oh.
Think about that. The storylines.
Oh wow.
I think that's a
2020. This would be 22 years.
22 years.
22 years. Yeah. That actually that is as much of a. If they shank that punt, I don't know what to say. that's pretty easy, I would say.
Yeah, that'd be a dope Monday Night Football game. I want to say they don't do the double anymore because last year they didn't do the double. They did it in week 2.
Yes. I don't know if they don't do it the first week. I haven't heard anything on that though. Do you like it when they do that?
The double?
Yeah.
Living in the West Coast now, yeah, I like it even more. Because, dude, back home, the second game would start at like 11:15.
Yeah.
And then it's halftime at 1 a.m. You're like, all right, bro, I can't be staying up
that's
now.
It.
It's time to go to bed. So, yeah, I think it's a cool way to highlight a way to open up Monday Night Football, having a doubleheader.
My only point of contention with it has always been that second booth that they put together is like me, you, and the janitor.
Bro, they'd be better off having me and you than some of the people that they have. Don't try to sell us short, bro.
I was like, what is this? Like every time I'm like, yeah, this is a horrible game. It's not even the matchup is great or bad, but the commentary is just god awful. And you could tell they like met each other in in the elevator on the way up.
Yo,
Like,
that's great. It does sound like they just met each other.
every time.
Yeah. Wait, what's your name again?
Yeah.
When
You're
I'm
Sean,
talking,
right?
yeah. When I'm talking, don't talk over me, please. That is how it sounds, because it just sounds like a bunch of chaos in the middle.
It's
of it.
not good. So that's always my, like, anytime they do it, I'm like, oh God, this again.
Do you value the schedule being released as much as I do? Because for me, from a betting standpoint, I think it's the most important bit of information that you get.
Not so much in football, because football, those first 3 weeks, yeah, I mean, everything could be completely contrary to what you were thinking. Outside of obviously a few teams, very rarely does the Chiefs go from Super Bowl champion to the worst team in the league. That doesn't happen often. But by and large, like, we didn't think the Jags were going to be good last year. I called that the Lions were going to be good, but everyone said I was crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, football is so weird year to year, especially with coaching changes and different things. So for me, it's more just exciting. I don't really pay so much attention to the entire league. I more or less kind of line up how my team looks, and where maybe what games I would want to go to, and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, we're playing the Packers this year. Oh no, I'm not going in week 13 though. Like, just stuff like that.
Bro, you ain't
Stuff like
kidding.
that.
You ain't kidding. I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, don't ask me to go to a Giant game after like Halloween. I ain't going.
Hey, I was there, and it was actually really nice.
Bro, coldest day of my life. Actually, there's two cold days. Both are around football. In 2005, the Giants played in December against the Chiefs. And this is when Tiki Barber broke the single game rushing record for like the franchise.
Okay.
Bro, it was so cold. I was maybe, what was it, like 03, 04 around there. So I was young teenager. They were giving out blankets for every time you registered for like a New York Giants Visa credit card.
Okay.
Bro, the amount of fake names my pops and I put down, because my dad don't really know English. So I'm just going around all of Giants Stadium filling out information, and they give us free blankets because I went there in an Under Armour and a hoodie.
Okay.
So
you're
it
like
was
me.
it was so cold where we legit wrapped ourselves up like a whole ass blanket around my arm, around the other arm, around the leg. Bro, I went home with like 22 blankets.
Oh my God.
My mom was like, what the hell did you
Why
guys,
you guys have
who'd you
to-
guys rob? We're like, yo, it's a long story. I still can't feel my fingers. It was 4 hours ago.
Oh my God. All right. So my coldest football story. This is when I had season tickets. No, excuse me. This wasn't when I had season tickets. This is when I got tickets to Cowboys Redskins. This is maybe 04 as well. I was in college. I drove up from college with one of my best friends, and he was a Cowboys fan. We go to the game. This was like Quincy Carter Cowboys. So this wasn't
It's
a great
early
game.
2000s.
This is early 2000s. We get to the game. Well, excuse me. It snows before the game. So it snows the night before. We wake up, like, my driveway, the house, everything's covered. It's like a foot of snow. It's like, oh God. We get to the game. It snows and sleet, proceeds to snow and sleet on us the entire game. I sit and watch my Redskins get completely cracked in the snow. We get back to the car to head back to college, to head back to Hampton. It's fighting traffic. It's about a 5-hour drive. And my heat breaks. And I was so cold that I couldn't feel the pedals.
Oh, man.
It was like, I like literally could not feel, like, my toes were done. Like, I couldn't feel anything. I thought they were going to take the foot.
Damn, bro.
It was crazy.
Dude, I played football on Sundays, like really competitive, like two-hand touch, rough touch football league. And first place is like a couple $1,000. Like
Okay,
it's like
people playing this.
it's like 4,500, 6K, 8K sometimes. And bro, we're playing in the championship, and it's the same day. Remember when Seattle played Minnesota in the playoffs, and the Vikings kicker missed like a 23-yard field goal?
Okay.
Billy Walsh, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Or that whoever that kicker was, bro. In Minnesota, it was when they were building the dome, so they played an outdoor game. They're playing Seattle.
Yes. Yes.
Bro, it was so cold that day, where I played quarterback. I couldn't like grip the football. I would manually have to, like, if this was the football, I would have to, like, I would hold the football like this, and with my other hand, I'm manually just adjusting my fingers to throw, right? And the way this league works is you kick the ball off, and then when you step on the field, it's second down. So first down is the kickoff, 50-yard line is the first down. We get the ball first, we score a touchdown, you go for an extra point from the 5-yard line, we miss it. They get the ball, score a touchdown, get the extra point. First 2 drives of the game ended 7-6. Because, bro, we were so cold. And ever since that day, I'm like, yo, fuck that. I'm never playing in the winter, bro. Never playing. So I never played in the winter again. I was like, yo, I'm a dome quarterback. I'm like Peyton Manning. All right?
Bro,
if it's over 60 degrees, no one is touching me in 7-on-7.
You are from the East Coast.
Yeah, but
how did this happen?
Bro, it was so brick, dude, that my face mask, the ski mask?
Yeah.
It, like, when I went to take it off, I had to crunch it because of the sweat froze. Bro, it was like minus 30 degrees. There's
levels
dumb.
to cold.
It was dumb.
Okay.
It was like really dumb. We didn't shake hands after the game. I'm telling the giver, I'm like, yo, bro, when this game ends, I'm going straight to the car. It was bad, dude. It was bad.
Today's game was sponsored by Campbell's Chunky Soup.
Basically, if you're going to a football game in New York City in December, you're on your own. Don't say I didn't warn you, because it's not a good time. It's not a good time. All right, Patreon rundown before we get into some NBA talks. And I want to definitely ask you something that I feel very strongly about when it comes to player salaries.
Okay.
All right, Patreon rundown. Nick Chavez, Abel Rezin, Ben Kotzian, Christopher Velasquez, Derek Plates, Devin Rendon, Jordan Riley, Mike Wozniak, Nick Crummich, Thomas Robinson, and David Martinez. You have pledged for an entire year. Thank you for the contributions. Patreon.com/veteransminimum to support the show. Next week, I have a big announcement concerning the Patreon and a place where you guys can buy some merch. I know I've been getting a lot of feedback for that, especially with the new logo. So be on the lookout for that next week. Patreon members, you'll be the first to know exactly in full detail. Going to start giving back to some of you guys for all the contributions to the Patreon. With that being said, let's talk about what's happening in the NBA.
Oh, all right.
Where do you want to start? Pick a series.
Let's just go ahead and start with the sadness first. We can go ahead and start with Lakers Golden State.
Oh, I was thinking you were gonna start.
You want to go Nick? You want to go Knicks Heat?
Yeah,
we can go Knicks Heat.
Hold on. By the way, we've ruined so many franchises. Every time we link up, bro, we praise a team, it ends bad.
Shit goes sideways immediately.
It started with the Nets. We were talking about the Nets the first time you came on, and then like 8 days later, they traded Durant and Kyrie. Forgot who we were talking about the second time, but last time you were on 2 weeks ago, I was like, "Yo, bro, like, I got a 40-1 on the Knicks, man. I got you're like, yo, me too." And now they're down 3-1 at the time we're recording. What's the problem? As someone that is away from it, right? How do you feel about what the Knicks and Heat series has been?
It's truthfully been about energy. Jimmy Butler, we talk about Jimmy Butler, but when it comes down to Jimmy Butler is very similar to Kawhi from this standpoint. He will do, when it gets to this time of year, he will do whatever it takes to win a game. Because it's today. It's not, tomorrow, the day after that. I'm winning today. And I think a lot of times players and coaches in today's NBA, they kind of like, they like chalk it up. Like, there's another game. And it's like, bro, don't think like that. Let's win today. Because if we win today, tomorrow will be a little bit easier. But I think the thing with the Knicks and Julius Randle had said this, actually, shout out to Knicks Fans TV, who's also on Blue Wire as well.
Yep.
He was saying in the press conference that, I think they want it more. And that's honestly what I think it is. The Knicks have been a scrappy team. But the Heat have been they've been eating their lunch. For me, I've said this. I don't know if I've said it as much out loud as I've said it in my own head. If Tom Thibodeau cannot find a freaking way to put Julius Randle and Obi Toppin in the game at the same damn time, it is frustrating. Obi Toppin will come in for 7 minutes, get 6 points. That's his stat line. Freaking Mitchell Robinson will be in the game for 30 minutes, have six points, 8 rebounds. It's like, bro, like if that's what I'm getting, then go ahead and get me somebody that's gonna give me some buckets too, and energy. You know what I mean? That's just my feeling.
You describe them as scrappy. When I hear someone describe a UFC fighter and the first thing they mention is his toughness or her toughness, I'm like,
You're betting against it?
To me, that strikes me as a consumer of the sport. It's like you're limited everywhere. You don't do one thing rather great.
Okay. No,
Toughness is like, it's a cool attribute, but I'm talking about like the first thing you mentioned to me is a fighter's toughness. I'm like, I don't know. The reason why I bring that up is because when you mention scrappy to me, I think of limited.
And truthfully,
And that's what I think a lot of teams are, and I think that's what the Knicks are. At this point of the season, you got to be able to hit certain landmarks. Like you got to hit you got to get over 110 a game, right? Like that's just
today's NBA.
NBA, like you got to get. And you have to have guys that can consistently, you know what you're getting every time you step off the bus.
Yeah.
Like right now, bro, and last time you were on, I was saying Kendall Jenner is the MVP of the playoffs. Devin Booker right now is the only guy in the NBA that I know for a fact is going to go out there and get me 25 to 30 every night in the playoffs.
Yes.
Like it's a guarantee. And the Knicks just don't have, and like Brunson, I think the ankle is bothering Brunson a little bit. He doesn't seem to have that same
burst.
Yeah. But when you describe the Knicks or any team as like scrappy, yeah, that's exactly what they are. But it's like, you're kind of limited. And at this point, you need that. I think this is the kind of series where you need a guy like a Donovan Mitchell, who the Knicks were going after in the offseason and they didn't get. Even though, like, I'm very happy. This isn't slandering Jalen Brunson, but it's like, there's a reason why those positions are so coveted around the league and why people are giving Kawhi Leonard 45 a year and Paul George 45 a year. It's because that's the kind of guy that could create his own shot, take advantage of a mismatch that the Knicks just don't have.
Yeah, well, and to your point, when you're able to just have a guy that I don't have to run anything for, like he can get his own bucket. Yeah, it doesn't have to, has nothing to do with coaching, has nothing to do with scheme. It's just him. The Knicks don't have that guy necessarily, not consistently. And to your point, no, it's the truth. If you want to say limited from the standpoint of they don't have what the Heat have. The Heat have a marquee player that this time of year, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to attack the game. That one game, not the whole series.
Yeah.
Just that one game. It's different.
But don't you feel like they have a lot of players that have also been in this moment? Like Strauss.
The Knicks?
No, I'm talking about the Heat.
Oh, the Heat.
Like they're getting production from guys that seem random, but it's not if you look at the history of what the Heat are.
Yeah.
Like these guys are producing every time because they've been in this. They've been in this spot.
They've been to the finals. Not this whole team, but a good
But also,
chunk.
they've been to conference finals.
Yeah.
They're not getting swept in the conference finals. They're taking you to a game 6, a game 7.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is the difference, dude.
Yeah, and look, this is still progress, Knicks fans. I can look at the camera for this. This is still progress for Knicks fans because last year was a horrible showing. Horrible showing. Julius Randle looked bad, like really, really bad, like almost run him out of town bad last offseason. But for them to come, have a great first round, and then, I actually was talking to Casey today, and I was like, look, if you guys can win this game tonight and force them to hold serve at home, that's one of the hardest things to do when someone's fighting for their lives. Today is the easiest game to just, okay, we gave up. If they win today and then they force you to take a flight, anything can happen in the last 2 games. Have they been playing good enough? No, they haven't. But I still think they're it's similar to another series we're going to talk about. They're just a couple possessions away. Like the games aren't as crazy or as bad as you think. They're just this bad possession or this dead situation where you could have taken better care of the basketball and you didn't, that led to a run, that led to a bucket. You know what I mean? Just little stuff like that.
I agree and disagree. I'm going to push back in the sense that they're stringing 5 and 6 possessions in a row like that.
Yes.
Where it's not 5 or 6 possessions, and that's where before you know
timeout.
you're looking and they're down 18. You're like, fuck, what just happened? It was just a 3-point game.
Because Tibbs don't call timeout when, like, the second you feel energy shift, burn it now, bring them over, talk it out.
Popovich was the best, bro. The game would start, the team hits a 3, timeout, everyone out. You're like, yo, what just happened, Pop? He's like, yo, I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing. And everybody wants to think they're Phil Jackson with Phil Jackson type players and like, oh, they can just play through it. Not everybody can play through it. Like sometimes your job as the coach is to stop it and stop it before it starts. Like if you see something that you don't like, 2 or 3 straight possessions, burn a timeout. Don't sit there and just say they'll figure it out. Like obviously they're not. Call timeout. But yep. What about the Nuggets and the Suns series?
Every team has one at home,
Yes.
and every team is getting contributions from guys that just play better when they're at home, like your bench. Like the story of this series has been the bench, because Phoenix in the first 2 games in Denver, I think the bench in the second game scored 5 points.
Yes.
4
yes.
points.
Yeah.
Single digits.
No, it was single digit. Both games. It was
Both
8
games.
the first game.
Yeah.
I think they had 12 total.
And then Shamit in Phoenix has like a career game.
Yeah.
Where he was a DMP in the first series. And that's what separates like the superstars from your good players, because you've seen what Jokic, Murray, they don't care where they got to go, especially Jokic.
Yeah.
And then Durant and Booker are like, yo, I'm giving you a 30 piece no matter what.
Yeah.
We could go into Denver, we'll go into wherever, it doesn't matter. That's what separates you from being here to the upper echelon
For sure.
of players. And to me, I think it's a classic. Every team is going to win that home series. That's why I got the Nuggets going through.
Okay. I still think, listen, the Suns are in trouble if Cam Payne is your starting point guard.
Chris Paul, it sucks that he gets hurt, but you know what, man? It asked people in Houston. So 3 biggest what ifs all have to do with Golden State of like the last decade.
Okay.
The Clay Game 6 against the Thunder, which is iconic. The Rockets being up 3-2 on the Durant Warriors when Chris Paul like blew his hamstring or something at the end of Game 5.
3-1, remember?
No, it was 3-2.
Oh, yes.
3-1 was
3-1
Golden State
2016.
Thunder. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other what if is what if Durant didn't go to Golden State, right? So this is what happens with Chris Paul, man. And look, now it's even worse than it was back then, because now he's like 37, 38.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wear and tear on him. And I felt coming into the playoffs, it was something we talked about before, how Booker and Durant, they're playing north of 40 minutes every game. I know you have to, but you're putting a lot on those guys. If those guys don't get you 70 combined, you're not winning those games.
At all.
Like you're
You
not
don't even
coming
have a
close.
chance.
Yeah, you're not coming close, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that series is a tough one. I think Jokic has played really well. Murray has played really well. But the Nuggets really have shown how well they have drafted. Like if you really look at that team, by and large, that team was all drafted there. And there's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about continuity, continually being with the same guys. And I think that's really what pulls them through. I really still don't trust the Suns. The Suns are still too Jekyll and Hyde for me, outside of Devin Booker. But Kevin Durant hasn't looked fantastic. He might have gotten you 30, but for Kevin Durant, it was an ugly 30, and he doesn't usually
He really
throw
had
up.
to work for that.
Yeah, he doesn't usually tend to throw up ugly 30s. Like his 30 is like usually like, oh, Durant only had 8 shots. Like, you know what I mean? He just happened to be 7 of 8, and like in a whole bunch of threes and a lot of free throws. Like he was always a very efficient player. For him to get 30 on 20 plus shots, that's not a good game for him.
Why are the Nuggets the 1 seed? They're up in their series. This could age horribly if they don't advance. But people still don't believe in the Nuggets. And I'm one of them. As someone who's financially invested in the Lakers.
Okay.
I am loving what I'm seeing so far, both from the Lakers and that the Nuggets are going to beat the Suns. Because I'd rather play Denver than have to go up against Booker and Durant. Am I crazy for that?
You are. And I'll tell you the reason why you are as far as the Lakers are concerned. The Lakers would much rather see the Suns just from the standpoint of.
Oh, you think so?
Just from the standpoint of the Lakers right now, it's depth that's helping them.
Good ass point.
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you look at the Suns, like they have to run those dudes out there. And so if I, as the Lakers, are able to run defenders at Durant, run defenders at Booker all game, and they're getting fresh bodies, and he's out here like, bro, I've had a sip of Gatorade. That's all I've got. you don't, and on top of the wear and tear from the series before, and they were down, so this is gonna have to go to Game 7 for them to even get to the conference finals. Yeah, no, you'd much rather have to play the Suns than you would the Nuggets. The Nuggets right now, they feel disrespected because I was the same way. I was like, I thought the Nuggets were gonna lose in the first round. So like,
I mean, I
everyone,
wasn't that crazy, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
who did they beat in the first round?
Timberwolves?
Oh no, I didn't think.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, come on, bro. I had to check
My bad. That's on me. But yeah, I mean the Nuggets, they're I don't think they're so dangerous that people are afraid, but they're also not making a lot of mistakes. And so it's like when you're
But
playing this,
you know why else too? Because you mentioned it before. This core has been together with the exception of Aaron Gordon for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, 4 years. 4 years easily.
And there's a reason why those teams flourish. Like you see it all the time in the NCAA tournament where like, oh, this team got a bunch of freshmen going up against a team that got like
Super duper seniors.
Yeah, like a 25-year-old senior. You're like, bro, this team has been together all this. And that's why you'll have like a mid-major beat Duke.
Yeah.
And there's something to that. Like the Spurs that year, the year after the Ray Allen shot, when he hit that shot, and then
I never told you the reason why I made that face. I'll let you continue, then I'll tell you.
the year after when the Spurs were all that ball movement and like they ran the Heat off the court.
Yes.
That was also a team that's been together for a decade.
Legit a decade.
Ray Allen, tell me.
So I was doing this was when I was doing my event in China, and I didn't tell you about my event in China.
No,
Okay,
this is new
all
to
right.
me.
Okay, all right.
Which I like, by the way, because
Okay,
I get a natural reaction from what
Okay.
you're going to tell me.
All right, so I did an event in China with Tracy McGrady, Gary Payton, Jason Williams, Bonzi Wells, and Tracy. This is the year that Tracy decided to come, jump on the Spurs, whatever, right? So what you didn't know before that was that Tracy McGrady had actually signed up to do an event in China, and so I had to do a lot of damage control and fires to be put out with people 13 hours ahead of me, and so basically when he signed up with the Spurs, there was a whole lot. The story definitely gets longer, but there was a whole lot going back and forth. And I was like, all right, fine. The event was originally supposed to be in May. I was like, all right, well, he's with the Spurs. Let's go ahead and push it to the end of May. Because if you think back, that Spurs team was like a 4 or a 5 seed. They were not meant to go to the finals. The Thunder were supposed to go to the finals that year. And so we pushed the event to the end of May. And Golden State should have knocked out the Spurs in the first round. They didn't. Spurs came back. And I was like, all right, let's go ahead and push it to June, like beginning of June, just to be safe. These Spurs keep freaking winning. Trace McGrady's doing nothing. He's like, he's literally not even getting on the court. And so they make it to the finals, and I'm like, all right, look, we got to push it. What's the latest we can push it? So I forget what the day was, but it was like, okay, as long as this series does not go to Game 7, we're good. So that whole 2013 final run, I was like, I don't care who wins. Just get it over with. I don't care if it's the Spurs. I was cheering for LeBron. I didn't care. I was just like, just go. Just be done with it, right? So when the Spurs got up, I was like, okay, cool. Tracy wins. Tracy's going to come to he'll have a retirement tour in China. This will be great. It'll be a perfect backdrop, right? So I'm literally packing. I'm packing because I'm going to the airport that night. And Ray hits that shot, and literally he cost me about 70 grand.
Damn.
Because that whole trip was toe up. Because we had to because remember, goes to Game 7, we're ahead in time. So dudes have to go through their exit interviews, all of that, and then fly. So you're already a couple days behind just in what's going on. And that shot. Shout out to my man Ray. Ray's my guy. I've known him since UConn, and he's ruined. So Ray has ruined.
Jesus Shuttlesworth ruined it for you.
Ray
bro.
has ruined my brother's life, and he's ruined mine quietly in some ways, right? So anytime Jerome and Ray get together, I'll tell you this story quick. Anytime Jerome and Ray get together, Ray always brings up the Big East championship game where AI takes a horrible 3 because he wanted to be the hero. And Jerome like literally catches the ball like under the basket, and like the way he catches it, he like tries to throw it back, and it like goes over, and the game's over. And Ray always gets on Jerome. He's like, that was your one-sided moment. Like, what happened? He's like, this is why we can't be friends.
Damn, bro. I love that story, dude. I
Oh.
was in Miami for Game 7. We had booked it was like the first guys trip that my friends and I all went on.
Okay.
And we had said something very similar to what you said, except we were rooting for Game 7. It was like, yo, bro, it'd be dope to be in. Dude, we were staying on South Beach.
Yeah.
So like, bro, it'd be lit if we're in Miami
and it happens.
for Game 7, and we ended up going to like the Clevelander, and it was like outdoor. And
I love the Clevelander.
It was hilarious because they're like, where are all the Miami Heat fans at? And it was just like, like we made more noise because this is when the Heat had that bad rep of like being shitty fans.
That's right.
And then we were on South Beach for like the parade and whatnot. It
that's
was a
cool.
good ass time, bro. It was a good ass time.
Oh, that was perfect timing.
Complete opposites. You were hating the Game 7. We were loving it.
Oh, I had to deal with the triads, literally, in China. Like,
yeah, you don't want to mess around with them.
Yeah, bro. I almost didn't get out of Chengdu, dog. Not a joke.
Man, that's great. Bro.
I'll tell you more about it later.
That's great. Lakers.
Oh.
Why? Why are you so upset?
Well, all right. I'm going to quickly give you.
Didn't you bet the Lakers also with me?
No, definitely not. You know I can't stand LeBron.
But don't matter, bro. You got this is the problem with you.
Yeah,
you gotta
right.
bet.
Yeah,
you gotta bet. You gotta bet you gotta bet the numbers. You gotta bet the spots. Bro, I bet the Eagles when they played the Giants in the playoffs. You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
I'll hold my money. I'll be upset because Nick, the whole time I'm not gonna be happy. Like even if the money is good, it's like I'm still not happy.
Yeah.
like I'd rather be happy and broke and not make any money than like upset and it's like, well, at least I made money, I guess.
But that's a nice way to combat that, bro.
I can't.
Like if the Giants get their shit punched by 4 touchdowns, I'm like, yo, at least I just made $150.
They hit the over.
Yeah. At least they covered. It's like this is what you gotta do, bro. Anyway, go on. Why don't you like the Lakers?
Yeah, my mind won't let me do it. But basically, this is I said this. I want to say last time I was here. The Warriors are based off of bad shots. When you really look at it, Steph and Clay have made a career off of taking and making bad shots. Right. So I just did some rough numbers quickly, and so if Steph takes 12 threes a game, probably 7 of them are a little bit ill-advised, you would say, right? Clay takes 9, 5 of those are ill-advised. Poole, before he started getting his minutes dipped into, he's taking about 8, 6 are bad. Wiggins taking 5, 2 are bad. That's 20 bad shots per game. If they're making 8 of those or 7 of those, that's still 13 bad possessions where the Lakers are now running, the Lakers are getting buckets or fouls or both. And that, to me, really, if you really look at it, just like from just on the threes alone, that's been the series.
I agree. Again, I'm going to push back, and I feel like I'm pushing back a lot on this.
That's all right.
Isn't a part of the greatness of the Splash Brothers the ill-advised shots?
Not to a coach. I coach. Trust me. Well, okay. I will say the greatness of the Splash Brothers has been that they have made it acceptable to take certain shots because of the level of work and effort that they've put into taking those bad shots. Steph, his little lunge 3 where his leg is just doing craziness and he hits it net and then he's looking for a foul. Like he's practiced that a million times. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that's foreign to him. Just like it wasn't foreign to Reggie Miller to kick his leg out and get to the line when he was shooting threes. But for the two of them, I don't mind it because that's who they are. And you have to live with it because, again, that's who they are. But as far as Wiggins can't be a Splash Brother. Anytime, if you really look at the history of it, anytime outside of the 2 Durant years, which Durant is a unicorn by himself, the other 2 years that they've won, they've always had that wing guy that was driving to the basket. He'd hit a 3 or 2 if it was wide open, like it was just in their rotations. I get a wide open look, I'll pull it. But that guy always was going to the basket. It was Harrison Barnes. And then last year it was Andrew Wiggins, driving to the cup, dunking on people. It was also Andre Iguodala too. Mm-hmm. Andre Iguodala is hurt. You don't have that guy that's driving to the basket. Draymond Green can't drive to the basket anymore. Every time he drives, he's looking to pass. He can't explode. He can't dunk on nobody. And every time he lays it up, he's getting it patted back. So Wiggins' job really has been to drive to the lane, and he has not done that. And that's like that. Honestly, to me, he's been the key to this success. And if he's not doing that, if he wants to pull threes, they're not going to win. It's just not. It's not possible for them.
Your best takes.
Oh, right now?
No, that was your best.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
My bad. I don't want to make you panic and be like, wait, what's he talking about?
I was like,
Nah, bro,
okay.
because you bring up a good point. And the way it's funny, right? Because just because them two could do it, that aura rubs off on the rest of them.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, if they could do it, why not me?
We all got green lights.
Yeah, and that's not the case. They could do that because they are the two best shooters of all time, arguably.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing where that no look Mahomes pass in the red zone or the rolling to your left, throwing cross body. It's cool when he does it.
Yeah.
But then everyone else in the league now is starting to do that. It's like, bro, you ain't Mahomes.
Yeah.
You ain't Steph. There's a reason why those guys could do that.
You can't put your team in those positions.
Yeah.
Because especially like Darvin Ham was talking about it last game. Anytime a missed shot goes up and they can run, they're running. And whenever the Warriors haven't been able to set their defense, it's a foul situation. They're putting their team in the foul. They're putting them in the foul positions. They're putting everybody in trail. Everyone's scrambling to get to a person. Those bad shots, man, they really, really do make a big difference. You don't think they do, but they do.
How do you feel about the Celtics and the 76ers series? Philly stealing one in Game 5, 82% of the teams that win.
Yeah, game 5 is the one.
When it's 2-2, because it makes sense. It's hard for you to now beat a team back to back.
Yeah,
that series has been, man. The craziest thing about the NBA playoffs, bro, is the massive overreactions game to game.
Yes.
Game 1, oh, this team's done. Game 2, they win it. Oh, this team got it now. It's like, bro, let's
let it play out.
Let it play out, dude. Let it play out. Like, you know what? When the series is over, then we could say
what's what.
What's what.
Yeah.
But man, it's just been one where you're looking at the odds are changing drastically. You're talking about like $3-4 movements in either direction with each game. Now they're going back to Philly for Game 6. Maxey, I think, has been the star for them.
Yeah. Harden keeps kind of being, he doesn't know, but as long as he is, this last game he had close to a triple-double, as long as he is producing and he's helping the team along and he's not being passive. If he's aggressive, James, even if it's not 30 points, but now I've got 15 assists because I was being aggressive, I think that's really what the key to the game is. Because you can pencil in Joel Embiid for 25 and 12. You know he's at least going to give you that. It's not going to fall short of that. It might go over it, but it's not going to be like, oh, JoJo didn't show up. Like, he's going to give you 25 and 12.
I'm a big fan of Jason Tatum. I've picked him to win MVP the last 3 years. He hasn't won MVP. But I've been following his game closely, and with them making the finals last year too, he's one of the 10 best players in the league, I think unanimously. But Josh, I don't know how many guys not go cold, but go quiet at his level
for stretches
as much as he does. Like he's had like a 2-point for half, and you're just like, yo, bro, you're that guy.
Anthony Davis, that's the other one. They're the same. From that standpoint, in terms of you'll look up and it'll be like he had a 20-point half and then he ends up with 26. And it's like,
okay, but I think AD can impact a game that don't appear on the box score.
Fair. No.
Way more than Tatum could.
That's fair. That's 1,000%.
But Tatum, he got to get you 30. He's like the main offense for them. I know Jaylen Brown has really like played very well for a while now with Boston, and he's a guy who's they're gonna have to make a decision on him whether or not they're gonna pay him or not.
I love you. I was about to say, is Brown coming back?
It's hard, man.
I don't think he comes back. I don't think he's happy. That's what I think.
Why though? Do you think he don't get along with Tatum?
I don't know what it is, but I forget what happened. It happened around the All-Star game, but he like said something and I was like, I don't know how happy he is there. which is interesting because you know what I mean. They kind of came in
I was
together
gonna
and
say they grew
have
up
grown
together.
together. But he might want to go do his own thing. And I mean, it would be interesting. I don't know. I had to look at the salary cap situation of where he could even go. But it'd be interesting to see where he ends up if it's not in Boston.
Yeah, it's fascinating with the Celtics, man, because with Tatum, he just has these stretches where, and it's weird because he has stretches where he takes over a game,
Dominant.
but then he has those stretches where he's just ghost.
Yeah. No,
And
you're
he
right.
don't impact the game the way AD is a good comp, but AD in a half, if he has 4 points, he also has 8 rebounds, 4 assists, maybe 3 block shots, and he's contributing. And then also, I think the biggest thing with a guy like AD and just bigs in general is how many shots are they altering that are not a block or a steal? It's like, dude, I'm going for a layup, and
I
as I
missed.
go up, I miss because holy shit, here comes a 9 foot wingspan
Yeah. 1,000%.
altering my shot, and that don't appear on a box score.
No, but it impacts a game, like you
Yeah.
said. No,
So that's
and
why
you're right.
I think Tatum just, and watching him in this series, and he's also my dad's favorite player.
Oh, okay.
He calls him Tatum because he can't really speak English that well. Shout out to Pops. But he's like, man, is he even playing? Is he hurt? He asked me if he's hurt.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I just don't get it. For a guy that's that alpha, and he has those stretches where he's like, yo, give it. And then there's other times where he just like, it's weird, bro.
It's the light skin, man. It is what it is. It's listen,
It's
I
weird.
I have to, I can't take offense to the beige brothers in the house, but it is what it is sometimes, man. Like, we can be a little bit too cool, Jason Tatum got the baby hair, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
You think that series is over?
I don't want to say yes because, like you said, it's literally minute to minute in a lot of these series. I would say it would behoove the Sixers to not mess around. You know what I mean? Like, if they want to ultimately get to the finals, because if they look, I think we can all say from the way it looks right now, one of these two teams has the best championship caliber roster. When you look at the Knicks, I mean, I know we both picked the Knicks to win. If the Knicks are able to come back, the Knicks would have some issue with either of those teams. Same thing with the Heat. I think the Heat, you don't put anything past the Heat at this
You
point of the
can't.
year.
You can't.
And Spo. So, but the Sixers better not mess around.
I agree with you. Before we wrap up, you wanted to talk a little bit about baseball, and I sort of altered the conversation around one particular guy, which I find super fascinating. And I've found him fascinating for a couple of years now because, dude, anytime I hear anything about Ohtani, it's always first player since 1912 to do this, first player since 1970 to do that. And every single time they flash a stat or a highlight, it's like, this is the first guy to throw 9 innings and then hit 2 home runs the next day since a dude when it was like black
Ruth.
and white television, right?
Yeah.
The conversation I want to have with him, and I don't know if I've ever told you this take, but one of my strongest opinions that I have in sports culture, sports media, whatever it might be, is I think there are a handful of athletes in each sport. Don't ask me to name them, but I will give you some examples that I think are vastly underpaid.
Yeah.
And all of them are maybe the highest paid player in their sport. Ohtani is projected, I should say, to sign a contract that's going to be north of $600 million. I feel as if that's not enough for him, a guy like him. I'm not talking now, all the players that I'm mentioning, it's not guys that are, not because he's a hitter and he's a pitcher. No. I'm talking about, think of the legacy impact. Think of the region of the world that he's going to impact that now, say, hypothetically speaking, say he joins the Mets.
Yeah.
How many people now are going to tune into the Mets because of him, the jersey sales, the attendance, and then from there, how many dudes are just going to grow up to be Met fans because you have this generational talent?
Yeah. I mean, to your point, after you said that, I looked it up. Sport Track actually values him as an 8-year, $230 million player as a pitcher and a 10-year, $333 million player as a hitter. And I mean, yeah, to your point, I know we had talked about it a little bit before we got on air as well. Um, there's certain players. I don't know if 600 million is too much. But to your point, how much money are you making off of this TV deal? How much money are you making off of my jersey sales? How much money? You know what I mean? Like the only thing I will say.
How much money are you going to be making moving forward? Because now that 8-year-old kid is going to grow up and be a Met fan because Ohtani is there.
That's right.
And the other examples that I use in other sports are Curry with the Warriors.
Yeah.
How many do? First of all, there's never been a player like him, I think, across all sports that has changed the trajectory of a sport moving forward than Curry. Now everybody shoot threes. We've talked about this in the past. But how many people now, they saw him win championships, they're going to be Golden State Warrior fans. Like, dude, I have friends that are Bulls fans. I never saw Mike, but their dad did.
Yeah.
Right? Their uncle did. Their older brother did.
Yeah.
And that's another guy who, whatever he was making with the Bulls that wasn't enough.
Especially the beginning part of his career when he was making $2 million a year.
And I know it sounds crazy because we just said that a dude making $600 million is not enough. But I think that there are a small, like the 0.001% of the 1% that we're talking about. Messi with Barcelona. Let's go international.
Yeah.
How many people now are rooting for Barcelona? Dude, Thierry Henry is my favorite soccer player of all time. I still root for Arsenal. And he hasn't played there in 12 years.
Easily 12.
Right?
Yeah.
And I root for France. Never been to the country. I have no French people.
You never been to France?
Never been to France.
We got to get you to Paris, man.
I do want to go. I would love to go. We out?
Yeah.
We out this summer?
Look, I told you I'm trying to go to the French Open.
Oh,
the end of the month.
That's too soon.
That's why I'm driving every day. I gotta make some scratch, man.
But yo, think about like the lasting impact. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
when a guy is slated to make X amount of dollars from a franchise, and again, these are generational pieces. Dudes are gonna be Warriors fans because they saw Curry. Their kids are gonna be Warriors fans because their dad watched Curry, and you hear all the Curry stories. I think Mahomes is another one. I think Brady went New England.
Brady for sure. I mean, look, LeBron. But see, the thing is with LeBron, he's jumped so much, so it's like
that's why I didn't want to. That's why I didn't want to mention him.
Yeah, well, and that's a fair point. Giannis with the Bucks. You know what I mean? He's taken not only that team international, but he's put eyeballs on Milwaukee that haven't been there since Lou Alcindor. So if you really look at it, no, I completely agree with you. And and we were talking about it before, even if it's, each, like in certain sports, whether it's similar to football, we have a franchise player where, we can spend more money to pay this player. My brother was a former athlete, so I'm always about players getting their players getting their money. I think in some ways, athletes are getting paid too much in some respects, especially in the NBA, Jesus Christ. But there's something to be said about those guys, those marquee guys that literally, I am the franchise. You say the Golden State Warriors, you're immediately saying Steph Curry. I'm synonymous with the team. Ohtani's one of those players. But again, he's also an international aspect, so that's a totally other big part of it that you have to take into consideration. You saw it with Hideo Nomo. You saw it with my team with the Cubs with Fukudome. When you bring those Japanese players, Hideki Matsui for the Yankees, when you bring those Japanese players over, not only are you impacting your franchise, but now you're impacting the entire league, but you're also bringing so many eyeballs directly to your team. I mean, think of Yao Ming with the Rockets. Yao Ming brought us 4 billion additional eyeballs to the NBA. Now, granted, after everything happened, China is backed up a little bit, but he brought so much attention and money to the NBA just from his mere presence.
I mean, I agree with you, bro. And I guess the counter would be how, there are other players that are making way more than they should be.
Yeah.
Fair. I think that every team should have, and you don't need to use it every year.
Yeah.
You have one exception.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blank check. I used to talk about Andrew Luck,
Yeah.
where if, back in like 2016, if I had a chance, I was the owner. But yo, bro, here's the checkbook. Whatever you want. No problem. Just don't retire on me, please. But that's the
that
kind of
happened.
yeah, that's the kind of player though. Like you're talking about a guy who's gonna it's a legacy. It's a future generations down the line.
Yeah.
The Messi of the world. I wouldn't even put Cristiano Ronaldo in that because he's played on 9 different teams too.
Yeah.
Messi
Yeah.
played with Barcelona for 15
Yes.
15 years, right? Derek Jeter was with the Yankees the whole time. Like how
Yes.
many people are Yankees might be a bad example because they were always going to have that aura, but I think it doubles down on what I'm saying. If you are a Milwaukee, a Golden State, dude,
Yeah.
I remember when the Golden State Warriors got purchased by this new the new like
Yeah.
family that owns it now. And Chris Mullin grabbed the microphone because they booed the dudes that bought the team. And they're like, yo, with time, be patient with them. With time, we're going to build a contender here. And then they get Curry, then they get Clay. They win 4 championships, right? Like this was like 2011 when this happened. This was something that's happened recently. What were the Warriors before Curry got there? Now they're going to be something.
They were, we believe, is all.
Jordan
It was
and the
it.
Bulls was the same thing. What was Chicago before he got there? Nothing.
They were remember, they were the traveling cocaine show. It's according to Michael in Last
the doc.
Dance.
Yeah. He's like, I opened up that hotel door and I don't want to say what happened in there, but you kind of connected the dots. It was the 80s, right?
Yeah.
But dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like there are certain athletes that the lasting impact of them playing, I think that they're underpaid. And again, I'll end it with this in the sense of this is like maybe 3-4 per sport, and that might even be generous.
Oh yeah. There's not, because I mean, especially in today's game, when you think about how many players jump around, that list is small.
What is Dirk Nowitzki's
Dirk,
worth to the Mavericks now?
he's still worth to the Mavericks, because I mean, like, they made so much money off of him, even and that was the reason why they kept giving him the money in the end, because it was like, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't so much that
You're not an $18 million a year player, but you know
by
what, man?
any means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, but we're gonna pay you this money because when you could have left, you decided to stay. And you deciding to stay helped build this thing out even further down the road. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm trying to think of other players similar to that. Alonzo Mourning in Miami, Dwayne Wade kind of in Miami, but Dwayne jumped around at the end.
Yeah, but no. I'm talking about like, yo, you need to at least have put in a decade plus in one city.
D Wade. I mean,
Yeah.
they did call it Wade County.
Yeah.
Like,
But think about, dude, all the names that I'm thinking about, and off the top of my head, it's Brady, it's Messi, Kobe, Curry. Like, these are the names. Ohtani, wherever he goes.
Mike Trout. He didn't move the needle. Okay, I understand. Like, he moved the needle for baseball people, but I don't know how much he moved the needle for non-baseball people.
Yeah, and also he didn't move it internationally. That's why Ohtani is such an interesting case study, because this is Asia. This is billions of people now that are invested in MLB because of him.
Yeah.
And like, yo, honestly, bro, I'm always following what he's doing because I'm just fascinated with a guy that could like win this Cy Young and MVP. Like, that shit is crazy.
I don't even want to talk about
Dude, you know the year he won MVP, was 50-1. And I told one of my buddies who knows baseball, I was like, yo, what's good with the dude on the Angels that pitches and hits? He can't win MVP. They're like, nah, bro, no way. And then he wins MVP. Goes to show you.
Listen, I'm still mad at my Cubs for not even really giving it a real show, especially at the point when we had Joe Madden as the manager, and we were using pitchers in the outfield and different things. Like, if we would have had Shohei Ohtani in the middle of our run, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's frustrating. it frustrates me.
Hey, man, this was a fun episode, dude. I would love for you guys to chime in and let us know what you guys think about this conversation as far as athletes being underpaid. Let's rephrase that. The cream of the crop, the 0.001% of the 1%, the 3-4 iconic names in sports, across all sports, that I feel like are underpaid. And I feel like you agree with me to a certain extent.
Oh,
so
no, definitely agree.
I would love to hear some feedback from you guys. Tweet at us at Veterans Minimum. Instagram us, same thing. The handle is the same everywhere. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, the whole nine. Everywhere you look up Veterans Minimum, just hit us, subscribe, follow, leave a rating, a review for the podcast. Helps grow. And as far as I go, at Nick Dais Tenors, you can find me. VeteransMinimum.com is a hub where you can find all of this stuff, so it makes it even easier. And Josh, tell the people where they can find you.
The American Fan 365 on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Yeah, we're I gotta grow. I gotta apparently grow the pod numbers, but it's growing. Talk about all sports. Definitely have a little bit of a comedy lean as well. So yeah, always love coming on Veterans Minimum and sharing some time with Nick. So
let's go, man. Put
yes,
a bow on Jersey Day here. We'll catch you guys next time on VM.